Well, hello everyone. I'm back to inspire you to want to live. My name is Dan PELLY, inspirational speaker, and the theme of this video is they're better off without me. That's what you're thinking, right? And I'm talking to that person on the other side of this video, or whenever I'm out speaking, and someone's sitting in the chair, and they're staying silent, and they're not speaking up, and they're not having dialogue, and it's okay to talk. And they're thinking, this world's better off without me, my family's better off without me, I'm better off without even having to look at myself, because it's a lot of self-loathing when we're suicidal. And we feel worthless, and we feel like there's no way out. But if you're thinking people are better off without you, you're wrong. When I thought that, I was wrong. Because you affect so many people in your life. Could be just a friend. You might not have family. I don't know. Could be a coworker. Could be a stranger that cares about you. The biggest thing is to care about yourself and self-empowerment. I'm not saying, you're going to, get strong tomorrow. And the people on the other side know what I'm talking about. When we're depressed and we're bipolar and we have mental imbalance, chemical imbalance, depression, clinical depression. We get into this black hole that we can't get out of. And I was there twice. I'm a 2-time attempted suicide survivor. I'm not proud of it. But I really wanted to talk about this because I hear it a lot when we're loathing and we're down on ourselves, that people don't care. Nobody knows how much you're suffering in your mind. When I was walking around suffering, trying to find ways to check out, I felt the same way. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. And it's not true, because if you said to someone, I'm thinking about, jumping off this building, I'm thinking about putting a gun to my head, I'm thinking about just hanging myself, I'm thinking about taking, 200 pills, whatever it is, I'm sure that person would try to get you help. So it's in our mind that we think nobody cares about us, okay? The biggest thing, like I said, is caring about yourself. So the theme of this is, you really think people are better off without you? I've been to many groups and survivor groups in the bereavement. It's devastating. I go on these walks and I meet all these people, and everybody's trying and bringing the awareness and the prevention. I'm sure we're saving lives. But the suicide rate keeps going up and not down in America, and over 800,000 to 1 million people in the world are killing themselves? We got an epidemic going on that's silent and it's stigmatized, and it's to a point where it's getting out of control. The more we get in this world, the more depressed we're becoming, right? It's like the old days when they worked hard. It's like they got your head right. We're spoiled and we're entitled and, all these things, and we want. We can't settle on our ultimate happiness and be at peace with ourselves right where we are. Even if we're chemically imbalanced and we have mental illness. Because the 2 times I tried to kill myself was mental illness. It's a psychotic state. We're not rational. And we think, the world's better off without me. But when I see these people and I walk up to a lady and she has her brother on her shirt that hung himself 4 years ago, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to know that he might have had a chance. If he might have taken an action a different way, or might have did something different, or someone interjected, intervention. Are you thinking about killing yourself today? Yes, you. Are you thinking about killing yourself today? That is the tough question to ask somebody when you see them not washing and not getting up and lost and looking lost. This subject of suicide is very stigmatized, where nobody wants to talk about it, although people are getting out there more, people that are speaking out there, people that are medical society of what's happening, in the medical, it's good and bad, The medical community, I mean, I believe it's there, you know, and it helped me. I got on medication. I was on 5 meds at one time, you know, Zoloft, Abilify, you name it, I was on it. But you become a little numb, you don't feel your feelings, you can't process as good. But to keep me safe, I knew I had to do something, and I knew how to get on medicine. I've been med free since 2011, okay? But that doesn't mean that's for everybody. And if I felt myself ever getting depressed again or bipolar, which has run in my family, more depression than bipolar, but it's there, that I realized, and even if it's there a little bit, it can come out. It didn't come out for me till I was 39 years old, and then 14 years later. And if you watch my other videos, you can hear my story even further. But, you know, I try, you know, my first attempt, it was just, you know, I should be gone, you know. I ingested 250 Tylenol, and it wasn't a pretty sight, okay? Painful. 800-pound gorilla, I used an example on my back, and the pain was relentless. I'm thinking, man, I'm better off without all this. The people around me are better off without me burdening them and all that. And they just look at you like, wow, he's just problematic, and he's sick, and he's not right. And this is what occurs. So we become more self-loathing, we become more isolated, we become more it becomes more stigmatized. Let me just say this. They're not better off without you. There's a whole life that's going on that you can capture and you can grab. I'm living proof. I have my days like anybody else, but I know I'm not going back again. Now, you never want to say never, because you never know how sick you might get. But my determination is to never go back. 3 times you're out. I'm lucky to even be here the first time. Second time, you know, my stepdaughter got hurt really bad in a car accident, took a head injury, and 14 years later, in 2010, I made a haphazard attempt. But I was still suffering with depression for over a year. I didn't get out of bed. And this is what happens when tragedy happens or something happens. But also, you know, this is Thanksgiving Eve. I wasn't even going to make this video, you know, tonight. But I was at a meeting, and good member says to me, his wife's third cousin, he committed suicide. So as I'm driving home, I'm like, you know, he jumped from a building. It was just so sad to hear anytime I hear it. Suffering from depression. And you know, he also told me that some of the medical community and medical people were saying it's normal to have suicidal thoughts. Have I ever heard that from one of my medical providers? I mean, you need to be out of this job, okay? Nothing normal about wanting to kill yourself. Yes, we know medicine can enhance suicide ideology, especially in younger people, and we got to be careful of the doses we're giving them. The medical society wants to, you know, the medical community wants to up the doses. You know, get them on the 5th floor, get them in there. You know, hey, look at when you're unsafe. You know, I was on the 5th floor twice. You know, you got to be there when you're unsafe. And to be able to talk about this took me 15 years to come out of the shame and the embarrassment. You know, but I went ahead and I remarried. I raised 3 beautiful kids. And I want to say happy Thanksgiving to them all that I love. My children that I've raised, with the women that I was with. We raised those children. And they're good children. And they're good adults now. And they're going to be productive in society. Even my daughter with the head injury, she had a message for the Brain Injury Association. And she's a wonderful daughter. I consider her my daughter because I raised her since she was 7 years old, and the boys 5 and 2, and my own biological son. I had stepkids. But happy Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to your family and to yourself. And gratitude. You know, gratitude is life's energy. You know, gratitude is big, because if you can grab onto a little hope, a little gratitude, you know, you got that mix going, you know, you got the shaker going, and it's like, you know, I hung on, man. I hung on, and I didn't really want to die when I had these attempts. You know, I did at the time. You know, the first time I was like, I want to die. I want 8 months of contemplating. I want to die. Get the pills. Get the 250 Tylenol. I want to die. Everybody's better off without me. I'm better off without myself. I want to die. And then when the Tylenol didn't kill me right away, because it takes 48 hours to get in your system, especially for adults, I got in that hospital. I went from wanting to die so bad to 48 hours later, I was 100%. 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 I was Do I want to live? The doctor's like, well, you accomplished what you want to accomplish. This is a lot of Tylenol, and I can't even believe you're sitting here talking to me. But the thing is, as I had to do dialysis, I had to sign something, and I'm like, oh, I want to live. Could kill me, liver, everything that was going on, and coming close to death a couple of times. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I wanted to die so bad. I mean, real bad. That black hole I was stuck in, man, and looking at that corner of the hotel room and saying, this is it? This is where you're going to end it? This is where they're going to find you after all you've done in your life? It was pathetic. Suicide is pathetic. You're not pathetic. The suicide disease is pathetic. It's just rotten to the core what it does to people and the lives that it's taking every day. Men more. 70% more men kill themselves by more lethal means. From gun, rope, jumping. And women are more cutting and pills, and it just doesn't matter. It's all rotten. And hopefully, you're not going to go down that road. And I want to put that wedge in between your thought that I wish I had someone talking to me back then like this, and more people come out and speak about it, but it's tough. Nobody wants to get out there and talk about it because it's shameful. But I just couldn't believe the difference from how bad I wanted to die and that black hole I was in and that 800-pound gorilla on my back till I couldn't believe how much I wanted to live. It just showed me that, that I want to live, man. I want to live a life. And then we're going on to remarry and raising children and opening up another real estate office. I mean, it took a little work. It wasn't like, hey, you just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. That ain't the way it goes in suicide and mental illness. Recovery programs I went to, medicine that I was on, depression medicine, physical fitness, getting sleep, eating right, philosophy, whatever it took, self-help, to get myself into a position where people wouldn't look at me as a burden. And then you could really see that they're better off with me. My own biological son, my other 3 kids that I've raised, the women I've been with, and the good relationships I've had. Sometimes things don't work out. That's life, right? That's how it goes. But when a lot of people are not accountable, they'll blame someone for 20 years for what happened to them because, they have no guts or glory, okay? So, and they're cowards, they just blame and they blame and they blame and they blame, and they're just like a broken record. And if they stop blaming, they could take, advantage of their life and maybe people can find somebody new like I did and move on. But it takes, a lot of self-reflection and who you are as a human being. So, are they better off without you? Absolutely not. And I'm talking to that person that's borderline right now. These are the people I'm trying to reach. You're borderline, you're on edge, you want to end it. I'm not going to say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps or, hey, it's a chicken way out. I don't believe in none of that. Right? It takes a lot of guts to kill yourself. But, when I talk to, a family member, it's like, I'm scared to kill myself. I'm like, yeah, stay scared. Don't have the control. You want the control and that you can take your own life. There's nothing glamorous about it. And all the icons following any kind of suicide or copycats and all that, I disagree with. They were sickly and they ended their life. So they're not better off without you. As you see on my video, my name's Dan Pelly, Inspirational Speaker. I just founded a group, the aspsg group, Attempted Suicide Prevention Survivors Group. So for people that have attempted, they can come to the group once a month, and people that have survived, they can understand, survive someone that has killed themselves. They can understand from a person that's been in the experience, which that's all I can bring. I'm not a medical doctor. My disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a therapist. I only offer my opinion, my experience, and some wisdom. And I hope, this video helps you that, people are better off with you. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, man. Try to be there for them. Try to sit with them. Try to show them that you're working on being okay, okay? And get that little bit of gratitude, man. Grab onto it for Thanksgiving, man, because that Thanksgiving is every day. We wake up every day that we can renew our determination to carry on, that we're gifted to wake up every day. So hang in there and try to really, make that little list and get up and wash and get out and do what you have to do. I'm going to read this because it's so important how our heart is all the time and gives us a lot of courage when we got hot. The treasures of the heart refers to those treasures stored up within our lives. Such treasures as an expansive state of life, abundant good fortune, vigorous life force, inexhaustible wisdom, and warm humanity. The richness of the life we establish. When you accumulate the treasures of the heart, then the treasures of the body and the treasures of the storehouse will naturally follow. But you're going to have to muster that up yourself. You're going to have to do this for yourself. Because no one's responsible for your happiness. Nobody's responsible for your financial well-being. And nobody's responsible for your health. So it's up to you. And you can do it. Just want to thank everybody for all the likes, the subscribes, and you can hit the bell on the YouTube for subscribing to get my future videos. And we'll be announcing our new location in January, once a month for the aspsg group, Attempted Suicide Prevention Survivors group. And I want to live. Your life matters. And never give up. We'll see you on the next video. Ciao.